Good morning, Milwaukee. Welcome to my morning thought, the only show where the headlines meet punchlines and where I barely meet deadlines.
It's a dangerous trip.
With a coffee in one hand and a steering wheel in the other, I'm here to serve you the juiciest slices of news. I'll be your guide today as we laugh through the chaos that is the daily news cycle. Because let's face it, who doesn't need a little humor with their headlines? Welcome to my morning thought. Let's get this day started right.
What's up, bros? I swear, politics just keeps getting weirder and weirder. So, get this. Some dude named Rep. Joe Wilson, yeah, a real congressman, just dropped this bombshell idea about putting Trump on a freaking $250 bill. Like, what? I mean, he's out here saying it's to help people deal with Bidenflation or whatever. But come on, we all know it's just him simping hard for Trump. It's like he's trying to win the biggest Trump fan award or something. So this guy Wilson, he's not messing around. He went full meme and posted this AI-generated image of the bill on X. But here's the kicker, bros. This whole idea is about as realistic as me becoming the king of Sweden. The US hasn't printed anything bigger than a $100 bill since like forever ago. They even stopped making $500 and $1,000 bills back in the 60s. It's like Wilson missed a whole chunk of history class or something. And get this, there was once a $100,000 bill, but it was only for banks to use, not for us plebs to buy energy drinks with. Oh, and did I mention, this isn't even Wilson's first rodeo in the crazy politics circus. He once yelled, "You lie," at Obama during a speech. Like, bro, chill. It's almost like he's trying to speed run the most controversial congressman achievement. Anyway, bros, that's the tea on this wild Trump bill saga. If you enjoyed this madness, smash that like button and subscribe for more insanity from the world of politics.
What the fuck is wrong with that guy? Who would want Trump of anybody on a $250 bill? You have to be dead for one rule to be put on a bill. This is just straight up ass kissing, and it's embarrassing right now to be an American. Let's take a look at what else we got going on in the news and entertainment world.
Cody Rhodes, the moment has arrived. I will open my arms. You will come to me. You will embrace me as your brother. And I will embrace you as my champion. I want your soul. And God have mercy, I need your soul. If the answer is yes, then the American nightmare will live forever. If your answer is no, then tonight the dream dies.
I want it all, Rock. My soul no longer belongs to me. And you know why? Because I gave my soul to this ring. Hey, Rock! Go f*** yourself! What?
Travis Scott burning sage in the corner. The rage sage from Travis Scott. One of the most shocking things I've ever heard said in the history of saying things.
Jim Jones, John Cena turned into Ted Bundy, and we got a mess here going into WrestleMania. But how can you love The Rock's performance, man? He is great, and he lit up the show yet again. I mean, he wants his soul, he wants his body, he wants his mind. I love it. It's like the devil. Would the devil come here ugly? No, he'd come here looking like The Rock. And I love how they play on that. And I think it's hilarious. And I look forward to WrestleMania. And how Cody Rhodes is going to respond.
I'm Marco. At least I think I am. Or was. It's hard to be sure after what happened on that flight from Germany to Spain. It started like any other day. Well, almost.
Ready for another routine flight, Marco?
As ready as ever. Though sometimes I wonder if anything is truly routine.
They say reality is just a shared illusion, you know.
If only I knew how prophetic those words would be. As I walked down the aisle, the overhead compartments seemed to ripple, like heat waves on asphalt.
Oh, excuse me, is this flight safe?
Don't worry, man. I've got you covered. We'll have a smooth journey. I promise.
Little did I know, the real danger was already on board, hiding in the shadows. As I returned to the cockpit, I could have sworn I saw something scuttle across the floor. Was it real, or just my imagination playing tricks?
What the? Oh, no, this can't be happening!
That's when it happened. A sharp pain, like a hot needle. And then reality began to unravel.
It's fine. I'm fine. Just a little prick. Probably nothing.
But it wasn't nothing. Oh no, it was far from nothing. As I looked at my hand, my fingers seemed to elongate, multiplying like fractals. Reality began to slip away, like sand through an hourglass. I was falling into a world beyond comprehension. The cockpit. It started to melt. Like those clocks in that famous painting. Dali, was it? Reality was slipping away. Everything I knew was dissolving.
Marco, are you all right? You look pale.
I'm fine. Just a bit tired, that's all. Whispers. Get it together, Marco. It's not real. It can't be real.
But I wasn't fine. Far from it. The instrument panel, it was alive, breathing, pulsing, numbers twisted into writhing worms. Dials became eyes, watching my every move. It was a nightmare come to life.
Marco, you just missed a call from air traffic control. What's going on?
Nothing. Everything's under control. Just give me a moment.
I blinked and suddenly, the passengers. They weren't human anymore. They were creatures. Impossible creatures with too many eyes, too many limbs. Turbulence. Ha! If only they knew. The sky outside. It was fractal patterns. Geometric impossibilities. Colors that shouldn't exist.
Marco, we need to change course. There's a storm ahead.
Storm? No, those are just asteroids. We need to navigate through them. Can't you see the patterns, the flow?
Asteroids? Marco, what are you talking about? There's nothing out there but clouds.
I couldn't tell him. Couldn't explain. How do you describe colors that don't exist? Shapes that defy physics? The plane itself seemed to be folding, unfolding, refolding.
There, on the panel. Do you see it? It's back.
See what? Marco, you're scaring me. Should I take over?
The tarantula. It was back. Real or hallucination, I had to catch it. Had to prove I wasn't going mad. But as I reached for it, my hand became a spiral, fingers branching endlessly. And the spider, it was changing too, unraveling like a cosmic puzzle. Reality and nightmare blurred into one. The cockpit. It's not right. Everything's wrong. The walls, they're breathing, pulsing, like a giant heart.
Iberia Flight 2468, please respond. What is your status? Your status?
I can't. The controls, they're alive, writhing, squirming, like tentacles.
Marco, snap out of it. We're veering off course. The instruments are going haywire.
The air itself seemed to crystallize. Fractal patterns everywhere, spiraling, spinning, splitting. I couldn't tell where the plane ended and where I began.
No, it's all webs. We're trapped in a giant web, can't you see? It's beautiful and terrible.
Marco, let go of the controls. You're going to crash us. What are you seeing?
My hands. Were they hands? Or spiders? 8 legs, multiplying, dividing, fingers becoming fractals, branching endlessly.
You can't escape, Marco. The web is everywhere, in your mind, in your blood. You are the web.
Make it stop, please, make it stop. I'm unraveling.
The plane. It was folding in on itself. Origami made of metal and flesh and dreams. I was the plane. The plane was me. We were falling, flying, fracturing.
I can't. Who am I? Where does the spider end and I begin?
In that moment, as reality shattered around me, I did the only thing I could. I curled up, closed my eyes, and prayed for it all to end. But the fractals, they were inside my eyelids too. I think I was losing myself, dissolving into the fabric of reality or unreality. The cockpit was a kaleidoscope of impossible colors.
Wait a second. These visions, they're not random. They're trying to tell me something.
Suddenly it hit me, like a bolt of lightning made of pure thought. The hallucinations weren't my enemy. They were a map.
I can see it. The air. It's alive. It's flowing, pulsing with information.
Marco, what are you talking about? We're still off course. The instruments are going crazy.
No. Look, can't you see the currents? The pathways? They're like rivers of light.
The air was singing, streams of color showing me the way.
Follow the purple stream. It leads to Madrid. Trust me, it's clearer than any instrument. Trust me, just follow my lead. I can navigate through this psychedelic storm.
We were flying through impossible shapes. Mobius strips of cloud, Klein bottle storms.
There, the spider, it's conducting the air currents, dancing across the controls.
Time slowed. The spider danced across the instruments, leaving trails of fractal webs.
Got you.
I think it was real.
Ladies and gentlemen, if getting bit by a tarantula, gave you those visions and made you feel that good, well, I can't. It seemed like he was having a good time. And, wouldn't that be a drug then on the street? Like, you'd think people would be like, hey man, you got any, tarantula? You know, got any tea? That kind of shit, you know? That dude looked like he was lost. He was lost, man. He was bitten by a tarantula that made him trip balls. What wasn't said though is he was given a steroid, Urbidex or something like that it was called, to reverse his trip, I guess. So it all worked out for him in the end. This was a true story that happened on Monday, I think last week. Alright, that's enough of me rambling on about it. It was cool. I love the new animations we got going on here on My Morning Thought. I hope you do too, because we look forward to introducing a lot more of it. It's very cool. And don't want to give away too much, but let's get on with the next segment here. This is kind of sad and strange at the same time. Would you shoot up a butterfly? Hey man, you got some butterfly. Let's find out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel.
Today, I'm diving into one of the strangest and saddest stories to hit social media lately. The Dead Butterfly Challenge. Yeah, it's as bizarre as it sounds. Picture this. Kids in South America are injecting themselves with a mixture of dead butterflies and water. Why? Apparently it's the latest viral trend. But let me tell you, it's anything but cool. This story gets really tragic with 14-year-old Davi Nunes Moreira from Brazil. Davy took the challenge to heart and ended up in the hospital for a week. Doctors were baffled and social media users were left scratching their heads. Like seriously, what on earth were they thinking? So here's what happened. Davy mixed a dead butterfly with water and injected it into his leg using a syringe he found. Yeah, not exactly a genius move. He started feeling sick soon after, vomiting, losing mobility, and probably a whole lot of regret. Doctors suspect he may have suffered an embolism, which is basically a blockage in a blood vessel. They have no idea what was in that butterfly cocktail, leaving everyone wondering. Now, most butterflies are harmless, but the monarch butterfly is known for its toxic diet of milkweed. Not that injecting butterflies is a well-studied topic, but you'd think scientists would have looked into it by now. This challenge seems to have started as a butterfly art trend, where people paint designs on their skin. But injecting butterflies? That's taking it to a whole new level of insanity. Imagine explaining that at the dinner table. Mom, I'm just expressing myself, and no, I don't have any paint. But I do have a dead butterfly. Yeah, that's going to be a tough sell. Authorities are still investigating, but one thing's clear. When it comes to butterfly-themed trends, let's stick to beautiful designs on our arms. Keep the butterflies in the garden and out of our syringes. So please, stay safe, and think twice before jumping on the next viral trend. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you next time.
Folks, Elon Musk is at it again. This time he's set his sights on the federal government, specifically its employees. He fired off an email demanding weekly updates on their accomplishments. Yeah, you heard that right. The guy who once launched a car into space wants bureaucrats to send him their TPS reports. Now, you might be thinking, hold on, why is Elon emailing federal employees? Well, it all stems from his takeover of Twitter, which, surprise, surprise, involved a whole lot of government contracts and interactions. Musk, never one to mince words, decided to lay down the law, his law, on how things should be run. And let me tell you, his tone was about as subtle as a rocket launch. The email itself was classic Musk direct, demanding, and with a hint of my way or the highway. He basically told federal employees to get with the program, his program, or get out. He outlined his expectations in no uncertain terms, emphasizing the need for tangible results. And of course, his favorite metric lines of code written. Because apparently, that's the only way to measure productivity in Washington. Now, I'm no expert on government work, but even I know that measuring a federal employee's productivity by lines of code is like judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree. It's just not how it works. The federal government, for all its flaws, isn't some Silicon Valley startup where you can just throw an app together and call it a day. The work they do is complex, multifaceted, and often involves navigating a bureaucratic labyrinth that would make even the most seasoned bureaucrat break into a cold sweat. It's about long-term goals, not overnight successes. It's about serving the public good, not boosting shareholder profits. And that, my friends, is where Musk's corporate mindset crashes headfirst into the realities of federal work. See, in Musk's world, speed is king. He thrives on disruption, on breaking things and putting them back together better. And while that approach might work wonders in the tech industry, it's not exactly a recipe for success when you're dealing with things like national security, healthcare, or, democracy itself. The federal government, for all its faults, is supposed to be a slow-moving, deliberative body that values stability and continuity. And so, as you might expect, Musk's directive didn't exactly go over smoothly. There was a mix of pushback and support from different corners. Some federal employees felt insulted, seeing the email as an overreach and a misunderstanding of their work. They argued that their jobs couldn't be boiled down to simple metrics and weekly updates. On the other hand, there were those who saw Musk's approach as a much-needed shakeup. They believed that introducing some of that Silicon Valley urgency could indeed improve efficiency and accountability in government operations. It was a classic case of old-school government values clashing with new-age corporate philosophy, and the debate was anything but quiet. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. What does all this mean for the federal workforce? Well, for one, it could signal a shift towards more corporate-like expectations and accountability measures within government agencies. This might lead to increased pressure on federal employees to deliver quick results, which, as we've discussed, isn't always feasible given the nature of their work. Moreover, it raises questions about the balance between innovation and tradition in public service. Can the federal government adopt some of the efficiencies of the private sector without losing sight of its core mission to serve the public? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. Elon Musk has certainly stirred the pot, and the ripple effects of his actions will be felt for a long time to come.
Well, predictable ending to the butterfly injection. The boy died. We all knew that was coming. And it's pretty sad. I'm afraid of needles, so I don't have to worry about that shit. It's gross. I don't know. Must be nothing. There must be nothing to absolutely do in South America to inject the damn butterfly. Wouldn't you agree? Then you got plastic face asshole Elon Musk, Mr. I'm from South Africa, comes into our country and belittles the FBI. I want to know what you're doing weekly. How do you sum that up? Like, I think about like the Ted Bundy case. Well, we got one more murder. We got little leads. And then what if they do say something like that and it leaks out and dude catches on? Or whoever target may be catches on. He's not that smart when it comes to government. I used to have mad respect for Mr. Elon Musk, but now I just think he's an overpowered, money-hungry, overpowered, job-scarer dipshit who doesn't give a shit about no one else but him and his buddies. And those buddies are way up here, and me and you are down here. Oh, and while I got a minute, I want to give a shout out to the Dominican Republic for showing me so much love on my channel. I love you guys. You're awesome, and someday I'm going to visit. Thank you so much for the support. I love you guys. All right, on with the next story we got going on. We got Donald Trump's hero, Vladimir Putin, and we got Zelensky. I didn't know this Zelensky guy was a comedian before all this shit. That's incredible that he would give all that up for this. So why don't we take a breath, gather ourselves, and take a look at this.
Welcome to Eastern Europe, where the drama is geopolitical and the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't your average reality show, folks. This is about power, invasion, and the fight for a nation's very soul. In this corner, we have Vladimir Putin, the former KGB agent turned strongman, a man who seems to collect tanks and territories with equal zeal. And in the other corner, we have Volodymyr Zelensky, a comedian who traded stand-up stages for bomb shelters, a leader thrust into a war he didn't start. Buckle up because things are about to get messy. This isn't a cage match, it's a multi-dimensional conflict playing out on the world stage. It's about tanks rolling across borders, missiles raining down on cities, and a propaganda war waged with the ferocity of a Twitter feud. But at its heart, it's a story about two men locked in a battle of wills, their every word and action dissected by a global audience. Think of it as the Real Housewives of Kyiv. Only instead of Botox and catfights, we have sanctions and cyber warfare. And trust me, the drama's just getting started. Putin, never one to mince words, has unleashed his latest verbal salvo on Zelensky, labeling him a toxic figure. Toxic? Really, Vlad? That's the best you've got? It sounds like a rejected Bond villain insult. But beneath the bluster, there's a clear strategy at play. Putin aims to paint Zelensky as unstable, incompetent, a liability to his own people. He accuses Zelensky of issuing ridiculous orders to his military, blaming him for the devastating losses Ukraine has suffered. He points to the absence of elections since the invasion began, conveniently ignoring the fact that martial law tends to put a damper on polling stations. Putin's rhetoric is a toxic cocktail of its own, a blend of half-truths, distortions, and outright lies designed to sow discord and undermine Zelensky's authority. He wants the Ukrainian people to question their leader, to see him as the problem, not the solution. It's a classic tactic, straight out of the authoritarian playbook. Discredit your opponent, isolate them, and then swoop in with your own brand of liberation. But Zelensky, to his credit, hasn't cracked under pressure. He's remained defiant, a beacon of hope in a sea of uncertainty. The world is watching, and for once it seems to be on the right side of history. Leaders from 13 countries recently descended upon Kiev, a powerful symbol of solidarity with Ukraine. They came bearing promises of support, both financial and military, a clear message to Putin that he hasn't managed to isolate Ukraine as he'd hoped. The European Union, the UK, Norway, they've all dug deep into their pockets, providing billions in aid to Ukraine. It's a testament to the global outrage at Putin's aggression and the admiration for the Ukrainian people's resilience. Even with the shadow of war hanging over them, Zelensky and his team have managed to rally international support, turning a regional conflict into a global rallying cry for democracy and self-determination. Section 4, America's attention deficit, from ally to bystander. But what about America, the self-proclaimed leader of the free world? Well, our support has been, shall we say, a bit wobbly. We've sent weapons, yes, and imposed sanctions, sure. But there's a sense that our hearts aren't fully in it, that our attention is drifting elsewhere. Maybe it's the lingering trauma of our forever wars, the exhaustion of being the world's policeman. Or perhaps it's our own internal divisions, the way we seem incapable of agreeing on anything, let alone something as complex as foreign policy. Whatever the reason, America's commitment to Ukraine feels tenuous, uncertain, like a promise whispered in the wind. And that's a dangerous game to play, because Putin is watching, and he's taking notes. Section 5, the Trump Show, Cameos and Chaos. Speaking of America's attention deficit, let's not forget the elephant in the room, or rather, the orange elephant, who still seems to think he's running the show. That's right, folks. Donald Trump, the man who once asked if Finland was part of Russia, has decided to grace us with his expert analysis of the situation in Ukraine. In his latest Twitter tirade, Trump blasted Zelensky as a dictator without elections, because apparently, holding elections while your country is being invaded is as easy as ordering a Diet Coke at a Mar-a-Lago buffet. Never mind that Zelensky won a democratic election in a landslide before the war. Never mind that he's risked his life to stay in Kyiv and rally his people. No, according to Trump, the real dictator here is the guy defending his country from a brutal invasion. It's enough to make you wonder if Trump's getting his foreign policy briefings from the back of a cereal box. But then again, this is the man who thought windmills caused cancer and praised Putin's genius for invading Ukraine. So, yeah, not exactly a foreign policy heavyweight, but hey, at least he's good for a soundbite, right? Because in the twisted reality show that is global politics, even the most absurd voices can find an audience. Section 6, from tweets to trenches, the high stakes of reality politics. And that's the scary part, isn't it? The lines between reality TV and reality itself have become increasingly blurred. We live in a world where wars are waged on Twitter, where diplomacy is conducted through press releases, and where the fate of nations can hinge on a viral video. It's a world where attention spans are short, where outrage is fleeting, and where the next scandal is always just around the corner. And it's a world where autocrats like Putin thrive on chaos and division, exploiting our short attention spans and our insatiable appetite for drama. So what's the answer? How do we break free from this cycle of outrage and apathy? How do we make sense of a world where the lines between fact and fiction are constantly being redrawn? I wish I had easy answers, folks. But the truth is, there are no easy answers. This isn't a reality show where we can just change the channel or fast forward to the happy ending. This is real life, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Section 7. Tune in next week, The Unending Saga. The conflict in Ukraine is a tragedy for all involved, a stark reminder of the human cost of war and the fragility of peace. But it's also a wake-up call, a challenge to confront the uncomfortable truths about our world and our place in it. We can't afford to be passive observers in this drama. We can't allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, to the injustice, to the sheer absurdity of it all. So, stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay outraged, because the cameras may not always be rolling, but the show goes on. And the ending, my friends, is still unwritten.
Well, that was interesting. The book isn't finished, but I sure hope I know how it does conclude. Kick Putin's ass back to Russia. I want to thank you all for tuning in to episode 6. This one is over, and we got more to come. This is just the beginning, and the show will keep evolving as time goes on. Trust me. So I'll just sit back in my cabin house room, trying to stay warm with my heater, because winter's cold right now. It's blowing outside, and I can't wait to see you on the next episode. So, booyah, love ya, and peace out. Got some of that tarantula and some of that tea, you know. Make a fortune off that. That neat tarantula, actually. Make that mine. Peace out. Take it easy. My Morning Thought is a part of Devil's Backbone Entertainment 2025.
That old white lightning done got me sick.